number one answer. We're 65 away. Name a word that starts with the sound cray. You said cradle. Survey said crayon. Crayon. That's a
Brought to you by We Are the Caring Store, waiting to serve you. It's time to experience independent living. Visit us today.
Jamaica, make we do the right thing. Make we live good today for a better tomorrow. Talk it out. Don't fight it out. The time by the Ministry of National Security is
6 for Nicholas and Tivoli.
A prominent clergyman says the argument about God making Adam and Eve and not Adam and Steve that is used as a rebuttal to any claim about the legitimacy of homosexuality ought to be ignored. He says it ought to be destroyed and not considered when the sensible arguments are being raised. But those who champion heterosexuality say Father Sean Major Campbell is the one who's misguided. It's his whose views are misaligned because only heterosexuality is sanctioned by the Almighty. We get a clash of the two opposing views here on Lead Story on this Friday. Let's start the show. Welcome to Lead Story here on this Friday. So, a heated debate broke out at a recent seminar put on by the Caribbean Christian Leadership Network here in Jamaica a few days ago, when Father Sean Major Campbell, you know him, he's a priest of the Anglican Church of Jamaica and the Cayman Islands, Anglican Diocese of Jamaica and the Cayman Islands. He fronted an argument to say, look, church leaders are hypocritical. Members of the clergy are very hypocritical and perhaps even lazy in their analysis, especially as it regards the issue of homosexuality and heterosexuality. And this tired line that they trot out that homosexuality is not to be brooked under any circumstances because God made Adam and Eve and not Adam and Steve. It is Father Sean's considered view that this argument should be dispensed with. There was opposition to his views, as you would expect, though, and the founder of Marriage Matters Jamaica, Philippa Davis, she's also an attorney at law, directly contradicted or sought to contradict Father Sean's assertions. She says that, look, whichever worldview you take or the Judeo-Christian view, heterosexuality reigns supreme or should reign supreme, and homosexuality represents a corruption of the soul and of the spirit and has no place in the society that we live in. Let's get this package to set the scene for the argument, and then we'll hear from those taking both lines in this fascinating discussion.
In most democracies, the concept of the separation of church and state is well-founded. However, one will be foolhardy to operate under the assumption that the church does not operate in communion with governance in Jamaica, a country often boasting having the record for the amount of churches square mile. One of the most profound manifestations, holiness lobbying, is with Jamaica's legal approach to sex and sexuality. One thing's for sure, the buffet of denominations and church groups in Jamaica impressively put aside their differences when needed to lobby to protect Jamaica's long-standing anti-sodomy laws, while Jamaica's anti-sodomy laws also prevent heterosexual buggery. The church has protested the repealing of these laws as a means of being used as a gateway to empower the LGBT agenda in Jamaica and eventually gay marriage. The Jamaica cause rallied tens of thousands of Bible-believing Jamaicans Jamaicans in 2014 and 2015 against what they describe as godless sexuality, and even found support in other religious groups such as Jamaica's indigenous religion Rastafari. But some more liberal Jamaican clergymen have a different outlook on the dominant biblical perspectives on homosexuality, with some churches embracing the LGBT community. Internationally, LGBT doctrines have been sowing seeds of divisions and creating so-called progressive and conservative camps within the church. The largest religious organization, the Catholic Church, has seen some of the most apparent fractures, with some furious over Pope Francis's decision to bless gay marriages, while some believing the pontiff didn't go far enough. But will Jamaican churches evolving to being more accepting of same-sex relationships, or will Jamaican clergy rebuke same-sex loving theology as blasphemy? We discuss on Lead Story.
Thank you, Trish. It's a fascinating discussion. Intelligent people on both sides of the argument often well considered. It's up to you to make your mind up as to which set of values you adopt and which set of values you won't adapt. That really is the crux of the matter. The debate resumes or continues or gets underway rather after this break.
Shiny, brand new Hyundai vehicle with free loan payments until March 2025. Yes, get a 2024 Hyundai vehicle and get free loan payments until March 2025. 100% financing, 2 years free service, 0 processing fees, and other sweet goodies. Drive into the new year with your new ride. Goodbye, old car. Hello, Hyundai. Hyundai. For free payments promotion. Limited stock available. Offer while stocks last. Conditions apply.
This week on Central Expressions.
Today we're out here in Mother Nature. We're at the Gulfview Hotel hosting our first annual Marriage Maneuvers Through Kingdom Principles.
And today at the Black River Film Festival, even though it's so hot, it was good, guys.
And today we'll talk about ownership of land.
Tune in to Central Expressions on CVM TV Sundays at 3 p.m. Repeat Fridays at 9.
Welcome back to Lead Story here on CVM TV. So my first guest is Father Sean Major Campbell, as I noted. He is priest of the Anglican Diocese of Jamaica and the Cayman Islands. Good evening, sir. Oh, we haven't gotten him yet. All right. So, well, let me tell you a little bit of what he said earlier this month. He asserted, quote, "There's an old and overworked saying that repeats, God never made Adam and Steve, he made Adam and Eve." Well, a very important truth, Father Sean says, is that God actually made Adam, Eve, Steve, and yes, Adam and Adam, Eve and Eve, Steve and Steve. He says we should always be aware of how we use the Genesis myth of creation to determine our understanding of the length and breadth of life in all its dynamic reality and complexities. And as I noted, he was speaking at the Church and Sexuality Forum held by the Caribbean Christian Leadership Network last Saturday. That was November 2. Yes, November 2. He continued saying, it's a report published in the Leader newspaper, he continued saying that many generations have been led astray because of this, as many rabid and opinionated thinkers whose only agenda is their religious doctrinal teaching, which has clothed their political angst with Jesus, operate as if once they use the word Bible or the name Jesus or God in their statements, then everyone must just stop and accept all they have to say. Now, It's a fascinating argument. It's an argument that I have considered in my own contemplations about the issue. The fact is, we live in a society now where there are heterosexuals, homosexuals coexisting, but those who hold traditional views and who believe that homosexuality is wrong feel that the acceptance of homosexuality by those who are not homosexual threatens to erode the most crucial unit of society, which is the family, because they make the argument that, look, under homosexuality there can be no reproduction. The children that homosexuals have are created by heterosexuals, and if we were to continue along the homosexual norms, then the world would cease to exist, mankind would cease to be. It is a reasonable argument, and they ask us as heterosexuals to consider these arguments significantly. The homosexuals say, well, look, there were homosexuals from before the time of the Bible. There were homosexuals before Jesus set foot on earth. And therefore, the world has been coexisting with homo and heterosexuals. So there is no existential threat to heterosexuals and to heterosexuality by virtue of the existence of homosexuals. So the reasoning from those who hold to traditional values, that reasoning is flawed. And then they say, but what are traditional values, George, if we've put on the table that homosexuality existed before God and the Bible? Why is it that that view is not seen as traditional, but only the heterosexual view from beyond that time, only that view is regarded as traditional? Again, it's a fascinating argument. It is more than just personal choice. Do we have Father Sean now? Father Sean, are you hearing me? We still don't have Father Sean. All right. Right. So the argument about traditional values. And again, you have to say to yourself, what are the values that I deem to be right? What are those values that I want to pursue, to uphold? What are those values that I want my children to uphold? What are those values that I want those closest to me to uphold? And is another set of values detrimental to my existence? Is another set of values an existential threat to the values that I hold dear? And it is the argument. And so, different strands of the argument. None of the points being made, I believe, are terminal points, meaning that they can't be rebutted. They are unassailable points. There are holes to punch in either argument. And it's just a matter, I believe, of personal choice. But if it was that simple, we wouldn't have this debate that we should be having this evening with Philippa Davis, the founder of Marriage Matters and attorney at law, and Father Sean Major Campbell, the Anglican priest of the Diocese of Jamaica and the Cayman Islands. I think we should take the break and come right back.
Shiny, brand new Hyundai vehicle with free loan payments until March 2025. Yes, get a 2024 Hyundai vehicle and get free loan payments until March 2025. 100% financing, 2 years free service, 0 processing fees, and other sweet goodies. Drive into the new year with your new ride. Goodbye, old car. Hello, Hyundai. Hyundai. For free payments promotion. Limited stock available. Offer while stocks last. Conditions apply.
Find Central Pitside, brought to you by HChem, AIM Financial Corporation, Texaco, and Connex.
The time by Grace. Taste that moves you is
6:45. goes crazy when you take the extra time. Let's explore our love. We'll leave the world behind. Can you feel this?
Schoolboy Football, September 7 to December 14 on CVM TV.
Schoolboy Football, brought to you by HChem, AIM Financial Services, Texaco, and Connix.
This week on Central Expressions.
Today we're out here in Mother Nature. We're at the Gulfview Hotel hosting our first annual marriage maneuvers through Kingdom Principles.
And today at the Black River Film Festival, even though it's so hot, it was good, guys.
And today we'll talk about ownership of land.
Tune in to Central Expressions on CVM TV Sundays at 3 p.m. Repeat Fridays at 9 a.m.
So we had audio issues that laid waste to our plan to include Father Sean Major Campbell in the discussion. We've been having those issues from the start of the show, and they've gotten the best of us, so we have to move on without him. I'm being joined in studio, though, by Philippa Davis. She's an attorney at law, and she is founder of Marriage Matters Jamaica. Philippa, thank you for coming here. The traffic held you up. That's understandable. This argument comes again, and, you know, people who are heterosexual, those who are homosexual, are being asked to make a choice based on the set of values that they hold dear. And as I said at the top, you didn't hear, but I said it's a situation where in some of the conversations, you're being asked perhaps to adapt your values or to adopt certain values. Some people are dead set against adopting any, and they won't adapt their values either. And that dynamic often causes conflict between the two straight camps, pun intended, homosexuals and heterosexuals. Your argument is that the idea that homosexuality is to be embraced, that it is to be placed equally alongside heterosexuality, is a flawed argument. Why is it a flawed argument?
It is flawed in terms of biology, anatomy, and outcomes of behavior. The fact is that, yes, we're free to make choices, but choices have consequences. We can choose our choices, but we can't choose our consequences. And those who choose to engage in behaviors that are abnormal, they will see certain outcomes that would reflect that choice. And so we say by design, human beings are made to relate to each other sexually, male and female. That's the anatomy of the body, but also the outcomes of sex would be the making of babies, but also, as the Bible rightly prescribes, fidelity and abstinence is your surest way to avoid sexually transmitted infections and diseases and other outcomes that come from reckless, risky sexual behaviors. Homosexual behavior, and we're talking about anal penetration, so you're using parts of the body that were not designed for sexual intercourse. Those are associated with very high rates of sexual infections, sexually transmitted infections and diseases, among other negative outcomes. Why would you want to choose for your own life a pathway that is going to lead to known negative outcomes as to those that would lead to human flourishing?
So here's the part of the argument that Father Sean Major Campbell says church leaders and thought leaders like yourself, thought leaders, don't want to have, which is, okay, so what should society do with those in it who are already homosexual and want to assert their right to express themselves sexually in this way?
Well, nobody has a right to sex, let's just put it that way. You certainly have a right to life and a right to freedom of expression, but not sexually, because we're talking about behaviors, and recognize that laws in society govern behaviors for the good of the individual and of the society. And if you just take it from a health outcome, why would you want to knowingly choose to engage in behaviors that are going to lead to negative health outcomes? The Ministry of Health says that we're responsible for our own health. Then you want to make healthy and wise choices. Now, we understand that certain persons may have or experience same-sex attraction, which is different from behavior. You could have an attraction to do a number of other things, but you don't necessarily act on that behavior because you don't want to breach laws of the land or also act in a way that's going to cause negative outcomes for yourself. And there are various reasons that may explain same-sex attraction. It may be that a child might have experienced sexual abuse in childhood. They may have watched pornography and therefore want to experiment. They may have been coerced into certain behaviors. There are various reasons. What you want to do is to address the root cause for the attraction, but at the same time, draw the same line for everybody. These behaviors will lead to these negative outcomes.
But here's the thing, so all right, I like that, but I want you to zero in on the issue of what to do with them, because we are in the age of the assertion of rights. It seems as if everybody's free to assert anything that they believe is right and to speak your truth and to hold to what you deem dear. People with a set of values, or no values at all, who say, look, they are homosexual and they want the right to express themselves that way, to be that way, to live and flourish in their communities. With the view that you have of these things, what ought society to do with these people, if anything at all?
Right, well, they're human beings. They enjoy the same rights that you and I have. They are able to enjoy, whether it is education or economics or what have you, yes. But we're talking about sexual behaviors that lead to certain outcomes. We're talking about behaviors that lead to certain outcomes. Why wouldn't I want to say to you, George, or anybody else, regardless of what your preferences are, that why, fellow citizen, would you want to engage in something that is going to negatively harm you? But you still enjoy all the rights that everyone else has.
So is it not a process of retraining, a process of, is it that you should have state pushback against the homosexual lifestyle, the homosexual proclivity? What ought to happen from your reasoned perspective is what I'm getting at.
Well, the same thing for anybody who is engaged in sexual behavior that would be harmful to themselves. And I would include that girls and boys who should be focusing on school and not engage in sexual behavior. Men and women who are not in a marital relationship. In fact, cohabiting relationships do have higher rates of domestic violence than marital unions.
Because you believe sex should only happen within the sanctity of marriage.
Absolutely. And that is because of the design of the human body, because the neuroscience of sex says so, because of the freedom and confidence that comes from a committed relationship in marriage. And because if you get pregnant, then you know that that child is being raised in a committed household because mom and dad are committed to each other. So there are a number of consequences that flow. So the principles apply whether you're heterosexual or not. The same principles apply. What will lead to human flourishing?
But here's the thing then. I mean, someone did ask the question. I'm hearing the question in my head. So is Philippa saying, George, that she and those who believe the way she believes, people who think the way she does, are they saying that we should marginalize? So you're not doing business with someone who's homosexual? And I know that the question seems base, but it's what people actually ask, and I'm asking it on their behalf. Would you do business with homosexuals? Would you acknowledge someone homosexual who's in a leadership position that you have to interact with? Would you shun interacting with them? How do you adapt your behavior, if at all, when interacting with people who see things the way homosexuals do?
But I've never advocated that, and I don't know if that is what Reverend Sean Major Campbell has been saying, that persons who say that homosexual behavior is abnormal and heterosexual relationships actually is by design, how God has designed sexual behavior to be between male and female. I'm never advocating, and I don't know of anyone who has advocated that we would exclude from society or shun anybody from that. Far from that at all. We're not saying that. So if Reverend Campbell is given the impression that we're saying that they're less than humans, that is absolutely not the truth.
Yes. All right. So I'm being told that there's an emergency situation that the station must address. But the last word I'll give you is this, Philippa. As things stand, you are saying that heterosexuality is supreme and that the society must assert the supremacy of same.
heterosexual relationship is by design, what is normal, and what is God designed for human flourishing. Other behaviors that are abnormal, there are root causes that in compassion we can address, still maintain a line of truth for that person's good as well.
Excellent. Thank you very much. We were squeezed for time at both ends, but we made it. Philippa Davis, she's an attorney at law and founder of Marriage Matters Jamaica. Thank you. That's lead story for this week. I throw it to TK White, who is on the news desk.
All right. So we have some breaking news coming in. Word on the street is that it is someone's birthday today. It's George Davis's birthday. And I hope you didn't think that we were just going to let it
never thought that.
Breaking news here is what your CVM family has for you. Take a look.
Happy birthday, yeah, my friend.
Oh no. Oh no.
Happy birthday, Georgie Porgy. Hope you enjoy it.
Okay, no.
All right, George. One more year upon them.
Who is the coolest? Who is the smartest? Who is the sharpest? It's George Davis.
We're not gonna make you say how old you are, because we know you're getting older, but you're trying to look younger with the new hairstyle and earring and all kind of thing. But happy birthday, my brethren. Happy you're strong. Glad that you're here, being transformative as we have been in the past together with Lead Story, and so much more to look forward to in the years to come. So enjoy the day, enjoy the weekend, enjoy the work strong. Bless up.
Happy birthday, George Davis. Hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day. I miss seeing you. Come link me in the morning, no sunrise. Make we see each other, no? Ciao. Anyway, happy birthday. I'm gonna go do the people them news. Bye.
On Lead Story, how old is George? Is he 16 or 60? Is it really his birthday? It is. Happy birthday, George Davis.
Happy birthday, George.
I thank you. That was touching. I thank you. I thank you.
Did we get you?
Yes.
We got him.
I was just about to quarrel with the producer and say, wait, why is there something important that you're not telling me? Why should I break for anybody to tell me? But yeah, you got me. I never expected this. Thank you very much.
And thank you. Thank you for all you do. And thank you for being with us to wish George here happy birthday.
Don't cry, boy. Don't cry. Thank you, Philippa. And thank you to the viewers. TK now has the serious stuff of the news at 7 coming up.
The internationally acclaimed On Stage with Winfred Williams.
At a new time, Saturday,